Hi friends, our Mixed Media Moods is back, baby! Our Mixed Media Moods is a monthly collaboration between Dee Dee Catron and myself where we create a mood board and then we both make projects and videos based on inspiration from that mood board. So this is this month's mood board and Dee Dee created this one. And as we go along, I'll show you what photos I used to want inspiration for. So I'm starting out on a piece of loose paper that I'm going to glue in my art journal page or my art journal when I'm done. And it's Bristol smooth cardstock. And I'm using my stamping platform because I want to stamp this tree by Viva Las Vegas Stamps. And it's a little too long for my page, so I only want to stamp the top. And I want to make sure that I get my stamping exactly where I want it across the page because I wanted those trees to be pretty centered across the center of the page. And left up to me and just an acrylic block, I mess it up every time. So stamping platform to the rescue. And I also stamped it StazOn ink so that I can add some water on top and it won't run. And then I'm showing you this Viva Las Vegas stamp. It's called Waybill Invoice. And I'm just going to try to stamp the scripty part of the stamp and not get any of those other lines. And I'm using Shadow Gray archival ink from the Letter It collection. They have it like not in the Letter It collection, but they have the mini ink pads from the Letter It collection. And so I'm just going to stamp that around, and then I'm going to take a mesh texture by Viva Las Vegas Stamps, and it's just a whole bunch of little dots. And I also stamped that in Shadow Gray. And then I have some Twinkling H2O in Lemon Drop, some Lindy's Magical Shakers in Yodeling Yellow and Oktoberfest Orange, and also some Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus watercolor in Gamboge. And I'm drawing the color inspiration from the oranges, and also the photo in the lower right of the trees is my tree inspiration. So I'm just going to sprinkle the Lindy's there and then activate it with some water. And that's why I needed to use StazOn ink to make sure that my stamping wouldn't run around, or also archival ink is safe for watery usage as well. And I'm just going to drop in my colors until I'm happy with the way it looks. Very random, but I am focusing my color mostly around those the trees, but I'm letting it move around. I really like that orange color from the Oktoberfest Lindy's Magicals. So I sprinkled some on my non-stick craft sheet and added some water to get like a stronger version of the color. And then also I could apply it with my paintbrush so I could control a little bit better where it went on my page. And then I'm just going to tilt my page around to get the color moving around, and then I'm going to dry it. And then I wanted a little bit more of a darker color, so I'm going in with the Quinacridone Magenta, which is also a Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus watercolor, and then Primary Elements in Rubellite, and that's going to have a nice shimmer to it. And I know these colors specifically aren't on the mood board, but it's for inspiration. It doesn't have to be literal. Like, the trees to me look fallish in the mood board, so I could take all the colors of fall. You know, it could be one thing from the mood board, or it could be everything from the mood board. That's how I do it. So then once I'm happy with that, I'm going in with some Dina Wakley Media in Night and some Liquitex Basics acrylic in Mars Black. And my paper really buckled, the Bristol cardstock, so I'm going to washi tape it down. And for the next part, I'm taking inspiration from the photograph in the lower right of the road, the dark asphalt, and that line, the horizon line. So I'm just taking my palette knife and I'm holding it, I would say, like 90 degrees from my paper, not completely up and down and not completely flat against the page either. Just so I can get some of those nice scrape lines. And I first go in with the Night, and then over top of that, I'm going to add a little bit of that black. And then I'm going to take this tool from Spellbinders. It's for like getting your little pieces out of your die cuts, and it's like a blunt edged like pokey tool thing, and I'm just gonna scribble journal a little bit into that wet paint, which actually is called sgraffito when you scratch into wet paint, which is probably the only fine art term that I know. So okay, so I stamped this word perspective from it's from Viva Las Vegas Stamps Cat Kerr, and then I'm gonna cut it out. And my secret weapon when I cut something out and I don't cut it out straight is to use my paper distresser, and then no one will ever know that you didn't cut it out straight. And then I'm going to add a little bit of that yellow onto my word there so that it's not so stark against the background. I'm going to back that with some dictionary paper. I'm going to stick those together with some clear tacky glue, and then I'm just going to rip the edges of my dictionary paper to get like that torn edge look rather than a straight cut edge, because I didn't think I'd be able to distress it with my paper distresser because it's too thin. And then I'm going to stamp the word mysterious around. It's a teeny tiny stamp by Viva Las Vegas Stamps, and the whole board looks a little mysterious to me with the dark colors, but in the upper right, the sugar skull seems a little mysterious to me. The whole Day of the Dead thing, it just seems a little mysterious. So that's where I got the inspiration for that. And then I'm going to stick my perspective down, and I was going to be done, but then I slept on it, and I thought I'm going to add some French knots with DMC embroidery floss in the same colors as I have like around the background. And I was really pleased with how that came out, and it was a lot of fun to do it. So and I did it off camera, that's why I didn't show me actually doing it. I'm taking these chevron confetti chipboard pieces from Wow Studio, and I'm going to apply some of that same dictionary paper to them using some of my favorite liquid glue, which is Collage Page Matte. And then while that's drying, I'm going to take the top pieces. Because I'm going to layer them together, I'm going to take the top pieces and coat them with a couple layers of gesso. And then I'm going to trim away my dictionary page, and I couldn't get like quite close enough with the scissors on the insides. So I'm just going to take like a regular nail file and file away that edge, so it makes it really smooth, and it also gets any of that paper that I wasn't able to cut away. And I'm just going to do that to all three, and then I'm going to layer them together with some of my clear tacky glue, and I'm going to add a lot of glue because I want the glue to kind of like, when you put too much glue on and it like squirts out from the sides, I want that to happen on the inside because I want to add these mini art stones. So I have all that extra glue on the insides, and then the art stone's going to stick right to them. And it's kind of random the way the glue went in, so the art stones don't stick like all over, but I was happy with that. And then I'm going to glue everything down, and I also backed my perspective word with some yellow thread. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I also did a little white journaling there on my horizon line as well, off camera with a white Posca paint pen. And then I'm also taking this yellow and then eventually an orange fine tip Posca paint pen and just doing some dots. And I'm bringing them from my background up into that word perspective, and just doing them all over. And then I did some stitching there to stitch down my word. And then I also went all around my page with 2 lines of stitching. And that's it for my Mixed Media Moods project. Be sure to check out Dee Dee's project. Amazing. You can join our Facebook group, which I will link below, and share your projects with us. And we're also newly on Instagram, and you can add us there as well. And tag us, #OurMixedMediaMoods. And you might get reposted. Who knows? So thank you so much for watching. We're so glad to be back, and I hope you join us and create something using this mood board. Okay, bye-bye, guys. Talk to you soon.